Assalamualaikum and good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to episode 3 of Legal Lens, where law talks and politics walks. So I'm Jiha and I will be your host for today's episode, which this episode is quite interesting as the topic is lawyer's journey between justice and also heaven. So to delve into this topic, we have a very special guest with us, Miss Nini Adila, the advocate and solicitor of High Court of Malaya. So, Miss Nini Adila, maybe you can share a little bit about your background, or maybe you can introduce yourself to the audience.
Okay, so hi everyone. Assalamualaikum. My name is Nini Adila. So I was born in Kelantan, and then I pursue my law degree in UKM. So I've been in legal practice for 7 years for now, and then my main areas of practice is civil litigation.
Interesting. So, civil litigation, I believe that is not something that is quite easy, right?
It is not, but I would say very interesting. So I really look forward to share with you guys.
All right,
later.
so stay tuned. So, Miss Nini Adila, we have several curiosity, maybe from the audience, maybe from us. Could you please share with us what first inspired you to pursue your career in this legal field?
Okay, so it actually happened by accident, you know.
I wonder why.
It started. There's one day during my secondary school time, where I was accidentally thrown by my English teacher to join an English debate, because one of my friend couldn't make it, so I was thrown to replace him. And then after that, I found that it's actually not bad. I enjoy talking. I enjoy doing public speaking, which somehow leads me to join more debate competition and leads to where I am today as a litigation lawyer.
I see. So that is where everything started, starting from debate, right?
Yes, correct.
I see. So, I think that it's a good start because it shows that we should actually just try, you
Yes.
know, like just try to do something that we never even bother to try, or
Yeah,
maybe we
of
don't
course.
even bother think to try.
Yeah, you never
I
know
see.
until you try.
Yep. So now, Miss Nini Adila, can you actually describe the first case that made you feel like you had truly made a difference?
Okay, I have a few in mind, but okay, let me share with you guys lah. There is this one case that I handled 3 to 4 years ago. That was during my early years of practice. So there is one lady, a married lady, came to me, appointed me to represent her in one matter. So she came to me with, I would say, a very quite strong document. She has a court order, proper documentation for adoption of a baby. So my client have been in her TTC journey, trying to conceive for a baby over 10 years. So due to some health issues, she couldn't make it, right? So she decided to adopt for a baby. And then she came to me to enforce that agreement. And then, okay, I agree to handle the case. So I issue all the correspondence. Then within 1 week after I took over the case, I received a call from another lady. And then that lady claimed to be a biological mother to that baby.
Wow.
So now, I think this is the most difficult situation I have faced. Because as a lawyer, you know, we don't only deal with legal issues. We deal with human emotion, how
that's
we
correct.
react to situation, how we control our client's emotion. So in this situation, I'm stuck in a conflict between a lady who have been waiting over 10 years for a baby, which is actually the baby is almost in her hands, right? And then the biological mother called me, say that she have a change of mind, because the initial plan is that the biological mother have some financial crisis, so she couldn't afford to take care of the baby. And then really she has no choice to surrender the baby. Then the biological mother called me, look, Puan Nini, as a mother, do you have a heart to surrender someone's baby to the other one who is not the ibu kandung, right?
Not the biological
So
mother.
at the same time, I am also answerable to my client who have appointed me to fight for her right. Because legally, she has all the right to pursue. Because I would say, documentation-wise, she really have a good case to go against the biological mother for breach of contract and so many things. So it's not easy for me. It took me weeks. Then I decided that something that is just or fair to one person will never be just for the other person. So if we want to achieve what we call justice, it will be very subjective. It will be just for one person but not for the other person, right? So, but alhamdulillah, eventually we concluded the case. I managed to convince my client, which is not easy. All the tears, everything, so many drama. And then alhamdulillah, without the court order, we settled out of court. So she returned back the baby to the biological mother lah. So we settled out of court settlement.
I see. So I believe that it's a very long journey, right?
Very long. It took me almost 1 year to convince the parties.
So it's not an easy journey.
Yeah, of course, not an easy journey. Yeah.
So it's an interesting case actually regarding the biological mother, the baby itself, the DTC. So I really hope that it was a great experience for you.
It is.
I see. All right. So, Miss Nini, you are not just active in the courtroom, right? You are also active in social media, sharing legal knowledge. So, can we know what makes you think that it is a good step to begin with, or what inspired you to take such a big step to share your legal knowledge in social media and be active there?
Okay, to be honest, actually now I'm happy to see more professionals on our online platforms. We have doctors, we have teachers, we have dentists. So for lawyers, people always have this kind of perception, oh, if you go to lawyers, their advice, whatever that come out from their mouth is very expensive. You need to pay for a lawyer to talk. So I want to break that kind of perception. No, now for legal advice, it is accessible by everyone who has a social media. So long as you know what you want to look for, you want to search for, actually you can search for lawyers online. Your legal advice is available online. I think same as doctors and other professions as well.
I see. So I also seen that there are also several lawyers that actually love to share their legal knowledge. We have like Tun Laila, right?
Yep.
So she also likes to share legal knowledge, which is quite good.
Yeah.
I see. So as we all know, Miss Nini, that law or being in legal field can be such a very a burden and tiring, as it is a consuming profession, right? So how do you actually manage your professional life and also your working life?
I would say that it's very important to have a good circle, a good support system. As it sounds too mainstream, but then it is somehow true. You have to balance, you have to set a limit for how many hours you want to work in a day, and also what goals you want to achieve at the end of the day, right? So of course, as a litigation lawyer, you have so many deadlines, some things that come unexpectedly within the same time, right? So as I said, get a good support system, maintain your connection with whoever, even from different profession, because sometimes do not confine yourself only in the same profession. Please also mingle with those outside your profession, because the thoughts that you guys are sharing with those outside your circle really helps you to explore something outside this field that you think that it's not only about legal, it's about mental health. It's about our circle, right? It's about other activities other than the courtroom. So that's how I maintain my relationship with the rest, so that I will be less stressful with all those deadlines, hearings.
I see. So we should not just stay in our room, stay in our office, stay with our legal profession colleagues, right?
Yeah,
we
correct.
should actually embrace ourselves and try to do something new. Try to do the new things with new people.
Yeah, exactly.
People from a different circle,
Yeah.
is it? I see. So, Miss Nini, it's just a brief one-word answer that we would like to hear from you. If you could describe your journey as a lawyer right now, could you please say it in one word? Anything.
In one word, I would say a transformative, because in a way that this profession has transformed me a lot in different roles, as a mother, as a sister, as a wife. Because 10 years ago, I am a very shy person. I can't even talk.
I see.
I can't even hold a mic. I can't even look into the person's eye when talking to them, right? So this profession has really shaped into a person that I want to talk more. You see, now you can't even stop me.
Yeah.
I want to talk more. I want to give more. And I know what I want to achieve at the end of the program, at the end of any occasion. So this profession have transformed me into into a better role, better position. Yeah.
Nice. All right. So I guess that's the one word to describe Miss Nini's journey as a lawyer, right? So we will be back with our second segment of today's episode from Legal Lens. You guys need to stay tuned as we will have very interesting sharing session later. So that's all from Legal Lens segment 1, where law talks and politics walks. Assalamualaikum and good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We are back with episode 3 of Legal Lens, where law talk and politics walks. So we are still delve into the interesting topic regarding justice and also morality. So we also have our very special guest with us, Miss Nini Adila. So Miss Nini, we would like to ask, what does justice word means to you?
Okay, justice, as I mentioned earlier, something might be fair to one person but might not be fair to the other person, right? So it's very difficult to define what is justice actually. But as a lawyer, I see justice as you make sure that the right procedure, the right laws is being applied, and then make sure everyone gets the rights to be heard.
I see. So I believe that justice, it is a strong, simple word, but gives a really powerful impact to the audience and also to the public. Right. So speaking of public, Miss Nini as a lawyer, right? So speaking of public, we have public that doesn't even have legal backgrounds, that barely know about law in this country, right? So as a lawyer, how do you feel when you're presenting a case or any legal phrases or any legal things that is related to law to the audience that doesn't really have legal background? So how do you feel when presenting this to the audience?
Okay, during my first involvement in social media platform, right, I find it's quite challenging because, you know, law, we deal with language. So the law, the legal language itself is quite complicated, right? So to translate into a layman language is quite a challenge for me. But then eventually I find it is quite fun because along the way we try to get used to it, and then we can transform into bahasa pasar, right? So as long as I think my audience understand my message. So I assume that I delivered the message. I hope that I delivered the message to my audience. At first, of course, it is quite challenging, but I believe consistency is the key. Because after a while, you get to know your audience, you know what kind of cases, demands, or issues that they look forward from you. So from my observation, they look forward on update on criminal cases, on recent amendment on any laws, on current issues, and try to simplify the language as simple as possible. Because when we rehear from, like, for example, from my own video, when I rewatch on my own, I'm putting myself in the shoes as a layman, as a normal audience, whether can I understand my own contents or not. If I do, then I am sure, I hope that it reached my audience well. So that's what I did lah, and still doing.
So as a lawyer, before presenting any legal research or any legal terms, we need to do our homework as well, right?
Correct.
We need to do our research on what are the audience might receive, what are the audience might think, right? So we need to do our homework as well. So speaking of criminal law, you've mentioned just now, we were shocked by the news that happened few years ago regarding the Sulfarhan's case, right? So sometimes when the court had decided a decision in these kinds of case, we called it like a high-profile case. So some people actually got influenced and have few perceptions by the legal system in Malaysia, legal system in our country, or the court's decision. So how do you actually can change the perceptions that people actually take from the decision made by the court regarding this high-profile case?
Right. Okay. First thing first, I'm not in a control of what audience thinks of how our judicial system works, of how our law works, right? Because everyone, even every lawyers, every judges, they have their own views, right? And then, but I believe my obligation as a legal practitioner, as a lawyer, I have to deliver the message in the most simple way on how our law, on how our court system works. For example, please bear in mind that whatever that decision, whether in a high-profile case or in normal case, civil or criminal case, the court, the judges, is also a human being. The law is also created by human, and we, the lawyer, also the one who deliver the message before the court, is also a human. So we all have emotions. But then bear in mind, the judges, when delivering the decision, they are bound to follow the law, whatever evidence and facts presented before the court, not based on public emotions, public pressure, and other things, right? So that's why in every cases, I always explain to my audience, look, in this case, what is the facts? What actually happened? Because you know, some audience, they only read the title. They didn't read the entire thing. So my duty here is to simplify the whole thing into the simplest way. What is the facts in this case? What is the evidence? And what is the grounds of the judgment? Why the court decided this way? Based on what evidence? So that an audience can understand better. But I always tell my audience also, right? If you don't agree with a court decision in whatever cases, of course, it is your right. But make sure that you channel whatever your dissatisfaction, your comment in the right way, right? Don't get too emotional on the social media, right? Because one more thing, bear in mind that agreeing with, whatever decision that come from court, you don't have to agree with court decision, because everyone have their own point of view. But at the end of the day, it depends on how you channel your views. We have the right channel. You can voice out your views. And then please know that whatever views that voice out by all the rakyat is being heard. If you think that there is loopholes in our law, please voice out your concern. And then, you know, there are things that happen based on people's feedback, right? So do your rights in the right way. Yeah.
Listen, ladies and gentlemen, that we can know our rights, but we have to do the right way. So basically, what we are trying to, what Miss Nini trying to say just now, that the court was bound by the law. So it means that as the audience, as the public, although we are very emotional by any decision made by the court in any cases, right? So it doesn't really matter, because the court was bound by the law. So the court won't see how much emotional you become, how emotional you have become, right? I see. So I think it's something that our audience can take note on this. Like, if you want to be emotional on something, on the decision of the case, it's just like, it's your rights, but it won't change anything because the court was bound by the law.
Talking about emotion, if I can, just a little bit of something lah. As a lawyer, we really have to control our emotion because you know why? As a lawyer, we wear many hats, many characters at the same time, right? For example, if I handle a divorce matter, today I'm representing a husband in a divorce case. So I'm really fighting against the wives. But the next day, I have to wear a different hat representing the wife. So now I'm going against the husband. So within just a few hours or a split second, I have handled a case where on the same day, I act for the husband. And then within 30 minutes, I have to change my character. For other case, I am representing the wife. So, you know, being a lawyer, it involves a lot of change of character, you know. So how you deal with emotion, that's why people always say, being a lawyer, don't get too emotionally involved in your client. There should be a barrier, right? Whatever it is, we are still a human being. Of course, I experienced that kind of emotional breakout. But then along the way, I get the hang of it. How should we control it? It's really important as a lawyer.
I see. So I think that actually can bring us to the next question, which we like to ask regarding the law itself. Becoming a lawyer is a stressful job. So how do you actually maintain your professionalism during the stressful moments that you've had?
To be honest, I have no idea how I did it, right? But then maybe can relate to whatever I mentioned earlier. Make sure you have a good support system. Please do not confine yourself within this profession. Don't see yourself, lawyer is something that is very stressful even before you enter the profession, right? Bear in mind, whatever that you do with full heart, that you do sincerely, something that you have patience, you are passionate about, you will find you will enjoy along the way, right? You'll find the happiness, right? For example, if let's say you want to be a lawyer, you aim to serve your community, you want to help people. So along the way, if you maintain the same purpose, then you will enjoy the journey.
I see. So it's actually being emotional intelligence is one of the things that we need to have as a lawyer, right? I think it's not just about becoming a lawyer that you have to have the emotional intelligence.
Applies to all.
I think it's applied to everyone.
Yeah, correct.
Right? All right, so let's take a short break, shall we? So I think we are going to take a short break for a while. So I guess that the audience can actually take a moment to relax as we will proceed with our very exciting segment after this. So that's all from the second segment of Legal Lens, where law talk and politics walks. Assalamualaikum and good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the third segment of today's episode from Legal Lens, where law talk and politics walk. So I'm Jia, but with us today we still have our Miss Nini Adila. Alright, so Miss Nini, for this segment we are going to do an interesting how I'm gonna rephrase it? Is it game?
Yeah.
All right, so we're going to play a game. This game is called This or That game.
Okay.
All right, so where you have to choose between this or that.
All right. Okay.
All right, so are you ready?
Yeah, of course.
All right, okay. So the first thing that I would like to ask is it courtroom drama or legal research?
Courtroom drama?
I wonder why.
Okay, especially in a full trial, you will call the witness to testify, right? So, my most favorite section is cross-examination because you need to study the witness. You will see different kind of witness. You'll see the aggressive, a very submissive witness, and a very unbothered witness. So actually, you have to study a human behavior, a human character, and then you need to learn within a split second how are you going to control, how are you going to handle the witness. So if let's say the aggressive witness, so you cannot lawan your intonation with them. So you have to match the energy. So to match the energy, if for example I'm talking about aggressive witness, if let's say the witness is very aggressive, when he or she is on a very high pitch, so you don't compete her. So you do a reverse psychology, make sure that she have a little bit of soft spot or trust in you, then that's it. She will reveal whatever you need. So that's the end of the day already.
I see.
So you need to know how to study the character, control, and then you get what you want in your case lah.
So that's how it become the courtroom drama.
Courtroom drama, correct?
I see.
Yeah.
All right, very interesting actually. Courtroom drama. All right. So the next question is it criminal law or civil law?
Civil law.
Wow, I wonder why.
Okay, to be honest, I've only done twice criminal matters. I'm not really into criminal. I find civil litigation is more interesting because you will see many kind of people. People will come with their own version. Why they cannot pay their debt? Why they do this? Why they are avoiding this? Why they didn't respond to this? Why they do certain things in certain ways? And then why they are being so ignorant of the law. Actually, the civil litigation is way more than what people think of it. Because people always think, oh, civil litigation is only about hutang. And the criminal is other things. Actually, there are so many things in civil litigation. For example, about adoption case that I mentioned just now. So it still hit me really hard until today, especially after I become a mother. So there are actually so many case and drama happens in civil litigation, not only criminal.
Oh, not only criminal, I see. So I think that maybe you are right that civil litigation is not just about debt, or maybe it's not just about something that's related to money. Maybe something about, I think, winding up company. Is it considered as civil litigation?
Yeah, correct.
I see. All right, so next, is it big firm or solo practice?
Could be both.
Could be both.
Yeah.
So are you saying that you are the kind of person that like working in groups and also likes the person that, I can manage on my own?
Actually, depends on situation because in some cases, you need to focus. I think I take legal practice, which is almost similar to study. There are some subjects that you are good on your own, but there are also tougher subject or tougher case that, of course, you need help from other counsels. So you need to work in team. But then in legal practice, bear in mind, even if you are a sole proprietor in a firm, means you are a lone ranger, right? If let's say one day you have a tough matter that is outside of your area of practice, right? Of course, you are free to reach out to your senior counsel to appoint them as a counsel in court. So do not limit yourself to area of practice that you are only familiar with. Feel free to reach out to your senior. So either ways, either solo practice or in group. So it works. It depends on individual. So for me, it depends on cases, right? On cases that you handle on rather on ad hoc basis. Yeah.
I see. So it depends on cases, whether you can manage it alone or you want to consult with your senior. So I believe that even if you have become a lawyer, studying you still requires to study, right? All right. So it doesn't just stop until you finish your degree.
Yeah.
Okay. I see. So the next question is actually quite controversial and might make the audience out there that are watching think of why you answer this kind of questions.
Okay.
All right. So this question is defending a guilty client or prosecuting an innocent person.
Right. Before that, I have a question to audience, right? How do you know whether your client or that specific person is guilty or otherwise, right? Because one is innocent until proven guilty, right? So as a lawyer, either same thing applies for criminal or civil litigation. There are people in civil litigation cases, right? There are people who come to me, look, what they allege against me is not right. I have settled all my parts. I've settled all my debt. I didn't owe her anything, right? So the first thing as a lawyer will ask when any prospect, any potential client come to us for a brief, okay, whatever that you have shared with me, please show me what evidence you have, what documents you have to support. So if, let's say, that prospect don't have any evidence to support, so as a lawyer, we will question again, okay, if you don't have any evidence, please tell me your story from A to Z. So from there, as a lawyer, first, you need to listen. You have to be a good listener. And you have to be someone which is realistic. So sometimes, bear in mind as a lawyer, your client won't tell you 100% of the real story, right? So you need to find a loopholes where you have to dig deeper and deeper from your client. So from there, you can know whether, is it within your area of practice? Should you take up the case or should you advise something? So it actually depends. So that's why we always tell our client, whenever you come to see your lawyer, please disclose everything from A to Z, right? So before it's too late. Before it's too late. So back to your question. First, we don't know whether that person is guilty or otherwise. But from a lawyer perspective, I see that whether you are guilty of that offense or otherwise, everyone has the right to be heard, right? And everyone deserves to be given second chance, either in civil or criminal litigation. So imagine if you don't know whether that person is guilty or otherwise, if he or she is not being given the right to be heard, so how is the court, how is our law going to access whatever evidence that she has in hands?
That's
right?
correct.
So everyone have the right to be heard. So we as the lawyer, as a messenger, to deliver the message, her version into court, why she did that, why that happened. So, of course, as a lawyer, we need to know the law, and also we need to have empathy. As human being, we need to have empathy. That's very important.
I see. So, it doesn't really matter that person is guilty or not, because everyone has their right to be heard, right? All right. So,
and then, sorry, one more thing if I can highlight here. Being a lawyer is not only about winning the case, right? So, because I've seen many lawyers, they are very ambitious, which is a good character, to win the case. Because lawyer always have in mind, oh, I need to win the case so that my client will be happy, I can impress my client. But bear in mind, what more important is that putting the right things into the right place. And then it's not only about achieving justice, it's about whether you are doing the right thing or not, right? If you think that is the right thing to do so, then you can carry on, of course, with the guidance of the law, right?
So that is actually a great opinion from Miss Nini regarding how lawyers should feel, how lawyers should think when defending a client. Like, it's not just about winning, it's about you be the person, be the medium for the client to be heard, right? I see. So we have another questions that we'd like to ask in this and that game.
Right.
So is it long working hours or flexible hours?
Flexible, of course.
Flexible, of course. I think everyone would love to choose flexible hours, right? So I don't need to ask deeper about why Miss Nini chose this, because it's so obvious that everyone, even including me, I love flexible working hours. All right, so next, is it, from your opinion, is it you choose justice for the law or justice for the people?
Justice for the people.
Okay, I think I need to know why you choose that.
Okay, again, as I said, if it is just for this one particular person, it might not be just for the other person, right? So whatever case that I handle so far, I always explain to my client before I take up the case, okay, this is the possibility that will happen. This is the risk that will happen if we go on with method A. Usually, I will present to my client, we have few methods, we have few strategy. If method A fails, then we go to method B and C, right? So, whenever that you decided to go into court, not only lawyers, but client also need to have patience, because you know how court proceeding will really take some time. Sometimes it goes until years, right? So, back to your question, again, I trust my instinct, right? Of course, with guidance of the law and existing reported cases, right? If I think that is the right thing to do, and then that is the most practical way to help my client, or at least to minimize the risk, I will go with whatever option that is available to at least give justice to my client, or even may not be 100% good outcome within her expectation, but at least something to minimize her risk.
I see. So the statutes, the cases, the existing cases are just guidance, right? Guidance for us to bring justice to the people.
Yes, correct.
I see. All right. So we have one more questions. Maybe we can delve into. So as a lawyer, we often do legal research. When doing legal research, there are so many sources that we can actually refer to. So as a lawyer, Miss Nini, do you prefer traditional law books or maybe online database?
I hate reading. I have to say this. I hate reading since law school.
Although it's a lot.
That's why I don't know why I'm into this profession. I don't really, not that I hate, I don't really like reading, right? Because people always say, oh, lawyers, you mesti rajin baca. Lawyers, you love to read, right? Actually, I'm not. So back to your question, rather than flipping through those traditional book in the library, I will of course go for online research. Even though still the same thing, we need to read, but at the same time we can open browsing through other tabs.
I see. So you can do other things while reading the from the online legal research,
yes,
right?
Correct.
I see. All right. So I think that's a wrap for the this and that game. It was quite fun because we have given options for you to choose, and we have also known why you choose that particular thing. All right. So before we end our session, we have one question that we'd like to ask. So, if you could give one advice to the young lawyers or maybe to the law students that want to stay true for both justice and their faith, what would it be?
Right. First and foremost, as ambitious as you are as a lawyer or as a law student, right? Being a lawyer is more about being a realistic person as a human being, right? Again, it's not only about winning cases. It's about make sure that your client is being given the right to get through the right channel, the right procedure, right? And then don't give much pressure to, this one I'm talking in a lawyer's perspective, to practitioner lawyer. Don't give much pressure to yourself. I really need to win. If not, my client will be very upset. If you give that kind of pressure to yourself based on validation from people or people's impression, right, you will lose your focus.
I see.
So either as a law student, as a lawyer, it's not only inside the courtroom, it's not only on the law, on the statutes, on the books. It's actually beyond that. If you can relate to my story earlier, being a lawyer, you need to be a good listener. You need to be realistic. You really need to control your emotion, even so many things coming to you. Imagine today you handle divorce matter, tomorrow you handle criminal matter. So how you accept, how you absorb and respond to that input is very important.
I see.
So if you yourself is being very emotional to your client, how are they going to rely on your advice? So law student is not only about law, it's about controlling your emotion. It's not only about IQ. I think EQ is more important actually in this profession, because we are all dealing with human beings. As a lawyer, your client is also a human being, and you're also dealing with the bench, the judges, which is also the human being. So you need to know how to address the judges. You need to know their character, right? So it's all about human being. It's not really on the law itself, lah.
I see. All right. So it's not easy actually. We have to think of many perspectives of becoming a lawyer, of being in this legal field, right?
Yeah.
All right. So I guess we can conclude today's episode. So thank you so much, Miss Nini, for being here. And also, I hope that the audience can learn a lot from our sharing session today. Thank you for your attention and also presence. Don't forget to keep update with our IIUMTV episode, and don't forget to follow our social media on Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, and also LinkedIn. Let's not forget Facebook. So that's all from Legal Lens, where law talk and politics walks.